Equality. You declare you see me dimly through a glass which will not shine, though I stand before you boldly, trim in rank and marking time. You do aim to hear me faintly, as a whisper out of range, while my drums beat out the message and the rhythms never change. Equality and I will be free. Equality and I will be free. You announce my ways are wanton, that I fly from man to man. But if I'm just a shadow to you, could you ever understand? We have lived a painful history, we know the shameful past. But I keep on marching forward, and you keep on coming last. Equality and I will be free. Equality and I will be free.
Some of us are serious, some thrive on comedy, some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, but most do it. Brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the seven seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really are the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, and weep on Indians' moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each suit and top, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
incredible. Weren't they amazing? Thank you for coming to see OSCiLLATE today. I'll quickly introduce the team. This is Rosie, and we have, and Babette, Ronnie, Helen. In the middle here we have our co-choreographers, Dre and Avalon. Then Adele, thanks. Ali. Ryan. That was an incredible performance of OSCiLLATE, guys. Let me ask you first, Avalon, tell us, when and why did you start Old Kent Road Tap Company?
Hi guys, first of all thank you so much for coming to support. I know a bunch of you have been following our journey, so thank you again. It means a lot that you guys are here tonight with us. Thank you. I started Old Kent Road in 2014 and I wanted to gather as many incredible tap dancers and musicians, because our first show incorporated live music as well. So I wanted to gather as many people together in a room and start creating work and putting it out there into theatres, and for public to come and see tap dance at its best. And that's why I really started it. I wanted people to be able to have work and have something to strive towards. I also did it for the training, because we all got to train together on Friday mornings, so it was incredible. Like Ryan would lead a session one time, Adele, we were always like sharing a lot of work, so that was really important for us as well. Yeah.
Great, so tell us about the inspiration for this show. Where did it start?
So Avalon met me in America when we met in this company called Tapestry Dance Company. And that's when we started dancing together and realized that we had a really good connection, a strong energy, and she had always said that she wanted to create a new show on Old Kent Road. And she said that she wanted it to be, to electronic music, EDM, yeah. And I was like, okay. And okay. And then I had been wanting to do a new show as well, and one night we were driving in my Jeep Liberty. No, that was my old one. I crashed that one. Sidebar. My Jeep Grand Cherokee Black, which I miss so much. I know, homesick, just a little bit. No, anyway, so we're driving the car, Avalon's sitting, and we pass this light shop, and it's at night, so all the lights inside are just lit up. And I told her, I've always wanted to tap in this shop, just with all the lights on, and I was really inspired by that. And so that's when I was like, let's do an awesome show with EDM music and all these crazy lights, and then of course amazing tap dancers. And so that's sort of where that developed. Yeah.
Amazing. So what was the first bit of choreography you created? How did it grow?
The first piece that we choreographed together was Quirky Legs, which is the piece that me and Dre started with the intertwined? Yeah. With the Quirky Legs. That was the first piece that we did, and that was for, we created that because we had to also create a promo video, which we had to do in Austin, and we had because we created this show, by the way, we created it in America with the composer, who's Kenneth Mockler, who's an incredible person. Anyway, so
on that note, Kenneth Mockler, he's an old friend of mine. He's always been wanting to create something. Every sound that you heard in this show was first created, period. The wong. All of this was in a bank for him before he was able to. Helen? Not to take away from Kenneth Mockler, who, honestly, he deserves a big round of applause too. He can't believe it. It's not just the hard work of these dancers and us two who created the show. Ken is a huge part of this entire process. You saw him at the top of it, and it truly is he's what drives our choreography, honestly. He was the one who created songs and really pushed us to be inspired by them, and then all of a sudden get in the room and just make this happen. So Ken, he's amazing. He wishes he could be here, but he will be at the Ed Fringe Festival, so that'll be nice. And then I forgot what we were saying.
Quirky legs.
Quirky legs, right. Sorry, just went off. Quirky legs, we had to do the promo.
Yeah, so
There you go.
So, as you guys probably know who works in theatre, when you program a show, theatres normally program shows like a year in advance and a half in advance. And so we wanted to go back to Edinburgh Fringe this year, because last year we took Fall out there and it was an incredible show. We got the Fringe, recommended Fringe show. We sold out, I think, every night, nearly every night. We just had a really great run of shows there. So I really wanted to take it back, and I wanted to take it back to the same place because it's the national dance place for Scotland, dance base, and the people that we're working for were awesome. But they were like, oh, well, let me see your work. And we were like, well, we don't actually have any work yet. So we had to create a piece and create a promo. Obviously, that was really hard because we didn't have the company with us. So we created this piece, and it took us forever. 32 bars, it took us about a month. And we stayed in the studio till all sorts of hours and liked it, didn't like it. We're also really critical of stuff. So we'll be like, oh, no, it's not good enough. Oh no, I like that. Oh, it needs to be the heel. No, it needs to be the toe. And we'll just take it apart and change it and take it apart and change it. It's exhausting. So that was the first piece that we created. And then Dre really took on the opening piece. And that was one that you really worked on.
It was 8 minutes long. So a lot of the time what happened was Ken would create something, and if I was inspired by it, I was like, I got it, I have this vision, I'll take it. And then she was really inspired by Trio, with the 3 girls, and so she just took that on, and so we sort of work like that, and just going back and forth with each other based off of, just what we were feeling at the time. Yeah.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, I think we became like an old married couple. We're like, no, maybe, okay.
Well, we also, because we've been working in tapestry together, we're really good at, why are you laughing? Okay, sorry. Because we've been working together for the last year, we're also really good at being like, oh no, you can change that, and we don't take offense to it. So we're always trying to raise the game of the choreography. So sometimes we'll create something and we're like, it's okay, it's mediocre. But actually, if you do that, or Avalon, I don't think you should do that shuffle there, you should do this, and so it just gets to a higher level every time.
Yeah. I will say on that note, in that process when we're like, God, is this good enough? Is this good enough? And we were making this whole thing, this brand new show to take and to tour and to bring to you guys. I remember being at night, is this good enough? Because we hold our bar so high. And then I'll never forget when we got here in Ipswich at DanceEast. We had our first week of rehearsals there, and I started teaching these guys the opening, and everyone had all this anxiety, oh man, they've never danced with me, it was gonna be a new style, and I'll never forget starting to teach them, and once they learned the first 32 bars, I got all these goosebumps on my arms, because it was finally coming to life, and the way that they took it in, and then the way that they really grew to our expectations, that's when I realized I was like, yeah, this is great. Yeah. So, anyway.
Maybe we could hear from one of the dancers. How was that experience learning that detailed work?
Nice. It was really good. No, we were all quite nervous because we'd never met Dre. We hadn't seen Avalon for a year. We had no idea what was going on. We just knew it was going to be fast and that we needed to get our act together. And we were asking for videos, and they sent a couple of clips, but they were trying to hold off from doing that so that we didn't freak out about it. So we freaked out anyway. But then they came here, and all the material was pretty much ready. bar a couple of numbers. So we just got stuck in, really. And I mean, everyone in the company likes a challenge, so we just took it and did it. And it's been good, and here we are, having a lovely time.
Yes.
Would any of the other dancers like to talk about working with this style and the type of music? It's quite different from the last show.
About this style?
Yes, please, Ali, yeah. If you can take this one for the team.
Thanks, cheers. Yeah, it's different. No, it was a challenge. Like Helen and Dre both touched on, it was we'd get like little clips from Dre, and I know some of you might have seen the show we had before. It's more sort of like three-piece band and like a different style of dancing, and then we'd get videos from Dre being like, and we're all like, okay, and we're like, step ball change, and it's like, it's probably not a step ball change. So yeah, it was a challenge, but we got there, and I think it was actually a lot better when we met Dre and started working in the room, and it's much more useful to have the person in the room to learn from instead of like watching these clips and sort of trying to work it out. So yeah, it all came together when we all got in the room together.
Thank you, Ali. I'm going to bring it out to you guys in 1 second. Just one final question from me. Ladies, where would you like this show to go? What do you want to do with it next?
Oh, well, first of all, we want Jamie back in.
Yeah.
Just introducing you, this is Jamie. She's been one of our core members since 2014, and she wasn't available to do this set of rehearsals in this show, but she will be back with us soon, hopefully. So, yes, Jamie, I'm glad you sat in the front row, making me nervous. Where do we want this show to go? Well, we just started speaking about making it into a longer show. So, yeah. Yeah, we want to do a two-part, well, an interval in the middle, so probably like a 2-hour show, if our bodies will allow us. But Melody's face is like, oh god, that sounds horrific. It's going to be amazing. We're all going to start running. No, we're not. Yeah, so we would like to extend it and make it longer. But some of the pieces that you saw, like light dance, we'd actually like to make that into a longer piece. So, yeah.
Thank you. So, I bring it out to you guys. Does anyone have a question? Feel free to...
Can I ask, thinking of the solo pieces, were any elements of those improvised, or was it all tightly choreographed?
So, yes, my solo was improvised, Adele's was improvised, Ryan's was improvised, and Avalon's was improvised. And so I guess it's all the solos. Yeah, solos were improvised. In a good way or bad? Because I heard a shuffle without the sh. Great.
Anyone else? I'll come to you maybe.
Should I just shout?
Yes, Tyrone.
Well, one of you said that the choreography was pretty well set before you got here from America.
Yes.
For a couple of pieces. But was the music all set also before you got here?
Yes, so we worked on this for the past 6 months prior to coming here. 8 months. 8 months, wow. And so then, yes, we had all the music minus the transition music, which was being sent. And the poems.
All those solos, we just got the solos, they were the last.
Oh, yeah. So no, we didn't have all the music.
We did have most of the choreography. We'd already we planned everything out. We knew who was doing which track already when we were out in Texas. And we had ideas for every single section of the music. We were also trying to be like 6 people at once or 9 people at once in a studio. So we were like trying to understand what it would sound like with 9 people, which was really difficult for us. So we were always trying to go on different canons and whatnot. So yes, there were parts that were set, and then like we came here and it sounded like there was one piece. What was it in? in quirky, yeah, the heavy drums, and we set it, and there's three different things going on at the same time, and Ryan was like, oh, this sounds kind of chaotic. So we ended up like cutting bits out of it, just because we'd never heard it with so many people before. And the music, we really worked obviously closely with composing it, so we were basically able to say we want this feel here, we want 32 bars, and we want like this war in the middle of this. Everything was pretty much everything we set over there, and then we're always in contact with Ken, and we're like, oh, we need a 30-second transition here, or we need this here, and then the music only just got finalized. So we had all the tracks, but then they take it into a studio to finalise all the levels and whatnot. So that just got done like a week ago, Thursday. Yeah.
You said you don't know where you want to take this. Why don't you take it to the States?
That was my thing. I was like, yeah. Plus my family wanted to see it, so we're gonna have to go. It would be fun.
How easy will that be to do? Because you're all in different places all the time.
Yeah.
It's just about really it's about a tour booker and a producer that want to take it far. So I guess that's for that like an international thing. So it's a big tour booker that you need. So I guess that's what we're trying to step into, trying to get into contact with. But yeah, we would love to be able to. We'd love to be able to tour the show. It'd be incredible, yeah.
You're absolutely amazing. First of all, say thanks to all of you. Just to ask you a bit about the emotions in all of the pieces. Can you tell us a bit more about what you were living there, and if there was one specific emotion for each solo, or what was the story behind it?
What did you feel our emotions were? So me. This was a very emotional journey for me personally, I think. I sort of began in a state of anger, frustration, maybe some bitterness, and then I moved into hopeful and possibly future awesomeness. Great, thank you. So that was my journey, I guess.
Adele, could you scat your journey?
My journey through my solo is it is very different every time. This piece, I was actually not as smiley today. But I'm usually very smiley in my solo. But I don't know what happened today. I went to a different place, I guess. But I like to kind of be uplifting, I guess. But that's how I try and think about personally.
Me and Helen dance together quite a lot in the show, and we have a whole range of things going on. Sometimes we're very close and open with each other, and other times it's very standoffish. Like at the beginning of Triggers, basically just want to smash her on the head. And then throughout the show we really warm up to each other, which is really nice. It's fun. By the time we get to light dance, we are very open with each other, but at the beginning not at all. And that took a while in rehearsal, and you guys didn't really spoon feed us that. Just certain things, the more we did things, range started to come into it. Once we had the choreography in as well, you're just learning steps for a while. I can't get anything else on top of this until I've got the steps. Then once you start to settle in, we kind of developed a little arc over the show, which just felt quite nice.
We also didn't give the guys characters. We didn't want it to be character based, but we wanted it to be emotional based. So we were able to say kind of the feeling, but also we didn't want to be saying this is what you need to feel right now. Like we wanted to partner, for example, we wanted to partner Ali and Ronnie up to do their duet on the chair because we know they're like best friends, like outside of the rehearsal room. So we were really interested to see how they would work together as well. And you're best friends now? Yeah? No, not anymore. Yeah. So we were really interested to see what they would come up with together. So it was a little different for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, we also wanted the choreography to speak for itself in a way, and not say, now you're gonna act like this. And when it comes across more as a natural thing coming from your body and what you're saying with your feet, then I think it comes across easier to you guys. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Yeah, they're both Maya Angelou poems, and we read through a bunch of them. We both really like her work, and yeah, we read through a bunch and we picked them for the specific dances. And we had Lexi and Leaf.
Leaf recorded it, and a guy called Joe that recorded it.
Yeah, that was Lexi's voice, the woman's voice.
Human
She'd been practicing an English accent for a while. Yeah, so those were the poems. And yeah, we wanted them to be danced by these two, which is why they got those particular words.
Anyone else?
Oh,
Ben.
Why OSCiLLATE?
Why OSCiLLATE?
Yeah, sorry, OSCiLLATE, my bad.
Do you know it?
OSCiLLATE. 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 So, the way that the music was composed, there's a bit of oscillation that has to happen with the machines that Ken uses. The dial goes like this, and so then there's the oscillation of how it's coming to be. So we were like, that's perfect. In the same thing with relationships, it's sort of like a back and forth thing. You never know, like, did they really understand what I'm saying or not? Did it go over their head or not? Are we fighting or are we not? Are we happy or are we not? It's sort of this back and forth thing. So we sort of thought that sort of really makes sense in both worlds, the music and the real life aspect. And the I is lowercased because we're all individuals. And so that's a thing.
Excellent. Maybe final question on the front row?
Sarah!
It's actually for Babette and Rosie. What is it like coming into an established company where you know roughly how it works? And it's a brand new show with a brand new person teaching as well. So what's that like?
I think for me, because I saw Fallout when it came to Salisbury, so I was a little bit scared because I haven't done this much tap in a long time. I loved the challenge personally. I thought the style that Dre brought was amazing and I was really excited to get my hands into it. And yeah, I think it's just been great seeing a transformation in everyone, but especially myself throughout the process. Do you think?
Yes. Yeah. Same for me. It was like a really, really big challenge, but because I've been kind of out for a year, and then you said, out of college, and then like not doing a lot, and then getting into this, and you asking if I wanted to join, and I was like, yay, I can dance again, and like just starting to train again and doing what I like, and actually be able to do what I like. That's just like a really nice thing, and everyone's really nice and everyone's really helpful, so that's a good thing. So
and we've had an incredible team here at Lilian Baylis Theatre. The team here has been amazing. One final round of applause for the dancers and the choreography team. I think they need to go off and waft themselves down and have a glass of water, and we will no doubt be out in the bar a bit shortly.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for being here.